Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. It's Monday, the 5th day of February, 2024. I'm still stuck in last week. Anyway, it started snowing yesterday, so winter's back. I thought, well, maybe we will get an early spring. Stumptown Phil, I don't know what it is. If it looks like what we call rock chucks over here, but maybe they have a groundhog there at the zoo. I don't know, at the Oregon Zoo, but both Punxsutawney Phil and Stumptown Phil have said that we're going to have an early spring, and I think that they're probably right. But then this happened, right? So there's probably an inch of snow out there, and I mean it looks nice, but I don't know when it's going to go away. Well, I didn't even think we were supposed to get snow, but then I don't know. There's something, the big atmospheric river or bomb cyclone or whatever it is happening in California. So I don't know how they're faring. I haven't been able to see anything on the news yet before I sat down here to do the reading. Anyhow, let's get started with it though. Let me get my keyboard out of the way. And let's take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag. If this is your first time here, welcome. I appreciate you coming by, and if you've come back, thank you so much for supporting the channel the way you do. I appreciate it. Let's see. Click subscribe if you haven't, and if you like it, give it a like. And I don't know, something about an algorithm. I don't know. Anyway, we have Dagaz we're going to start out with today. Dagaz is the 23rd rune of the Elder Futhark, and it's about a new day. It looks kind of like a little bow tie, but realistically, it's Kenaz in all directions. Kenaz is the torch or light of spirit. Basically, here's what... if we were to terminate the ends, we would have Dagaz, basically. Here you have Gebo in the middle, and then here's Kenaz here, forward, reversed, up and down, and then if you terminate the ends, you see you're going to have the little bow tie. You're going to have with Isa, you're going to have Dagaz. So essentially, it's the light of spirit coming in, and then you expressing it in all directions. But in terms of it being a new day, then you're talking about having the opportunity to go into the new day with full clarity, of higher clarity, not ego clarity, which is the lower side or a below side of things. But you can see, basically, it kind of looks like it comes into the center and goes out on the other side. And so it's the end of one phase and the beginning of a new one, maybe. You could say that. But basically, it's all doors are open and all options are available. So it just seems like whenever you get Dagaz on a reading, when you pull Dagaz, it's signaling that something new is coming, and you have the opportunity to do something differently, maybe. Just all options are on the table, all possibilities available to you. And so let's take a look, though, at the... let me get my chair just a little bit closer here. Let's take a look at the Geomancy rune. Now, Geomancy is a different type of divination system. It has four, the way I do it, you can either throw down a handful of peas or lentils or beans or whatever, dried beans. These are dried, of course. Throw them down and count them. And if you get an even number, that's 2 dots. If you get an odd number, that's 1 dot. You can do it that way. But to me, it just takes time. So what I did when I made my runes, I made some elemental runes to do this with, and I did this years ago. Anyway, and you put them in the order of air, fire, water, and earth. Here's air. It has 1 dot on this side, and it came up this way. The other side, there's 2 dots. But we're going to correspond it to air. And the reason why that's important is whatever you're going to do here, you're going to put it in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. So let's see where we have fire. That's earth. There's fire. So we have here. Well, we have Rubius. Let's see, where is Rubius? Rubius and Albus are each other's complement. Albus means a sage and clarity and higher wisdom and all of that. Rubius, on the other hand, is a misuse of force and massive ego. And so, you can have your here's Albus, or rather, here's Rubius, rather, and then this would be Albus. Its complement. It's the concept of really of wisdom, and where does that wisdom come from? And how do you manifest it? And with a new day, you have the possibility to raise your vibration, raise your awareness into something that's truly soul based versus constantly reacting to everything that's going on around you and judging it and getting angry and judging it as something bad when it's not. I need to plug my mouse in here so I get a little more mouse. My mouse is very low. Okay, well, we'll just set it right there. But I have to have it to shut this off so when I'm done. So oh my goodness. But anyway, what we have here is sort of a not really an opposite here. Other than you're in full clarity and all of that with higher awareness informing everything. And then what are you going to do with it? Are you going to allow the ego side to come in and sort of ruin all of that and shade it in a way that maybe takes advantage of other people? That's the thing about Rubius. When it says misuse of force, I mean, it really does mean that. And it's coming from a really arrogant and nasty and service to self kind of way, if you will. You want to look at it as self-oriented, personal agenda. And they're there to, that kind of energy is there to mess things up in a way that's not good. It's to shake things up in a way that's not good. Keeps people off their game, makes them, there's a lot of lying associated with it, a lot of deception, a lot of trickery and conning. And so, again, I talked about this, was it last week or week before? The idea of being on two paths that have split, it seems. And there's not even, I mean, it's a real either or kind of feeling to me. It's not like there's any shades of gray in the middle of it. And so realistically, this could be describing that, where you embrace the chance for a higher purpose with Degas. And then with Rubius, it's like, well, we'll see about that. And so let's see it. And that can be something that's going on within you, or it could represent somebody that you meet that is trying to, throw a wrench into everything. But let's take a look at the cards. I've drawn 3 cards. Now we have one from the Major Arcana, one from Swords, and one from the Ace of Pentacles. I think that I think I'm going to put the ace at the end, and I'm going to correspond that with Degas here in the New Beginnings. Excuse me. I didn't make any tea before coming in here. Let's see. Pentacles is going to be about the Ace of Pentacles will be about your something new on the horizon, a new path opening toward material security, or something to do with your home or your work or something like that. It doesn't have to actually be material security, although frequently it is. Because, I mean, when you see a coin representing pentacles, I mean, that's money. So, but again, there's a lot of ways to look at fortune. It doesn't it can be the legacy that you leave behind. And Pentacles also talks about that. So, but let's begin with the 9 of Swords. Now, here we have a guy or has awakened from a nightmare. You see 9 swords arranged in a pattern up above. There's a lot of pressure here with this card. A little feeling of, oh my God, what just happened? I just came out of a terrible dream, and you can also look at it though as thoughts that you can't. Maybe it's monkey mind. Maybe he hasn't awakened from a dream. Maybe he can't get to sleep because of the monkey mind that's going on. Not being able to let go of thoughts that are bothering you. It could also be looked at that way, but generally speaking, it describes a nightmare. But again, if it's your thoughts that are taking you there, then it's something that is being driven by lower ego, basically. Certainly not higher awareness. Higher awareness would say, let it go, just let it go. It doesn't matter. Everything is an illusion. You're just here to learn. Don't take it too seriously. And so, with the 9, you're talking about endings and completion, spirituality, generosity. But when I look at this, and then followed by the 10, which shows a person on the ground with 10 swords. They're dead on the ground. There's 10 swords in their back on the sand next to a big body of water, and then you see the sun starting to come up. Although you don't see the sun, but you see the light returning. So in a sense, it's the end of all of that. It's the end of perceptions governing everything about you. And with the 9, we're almost there. He's awakening to the truth of this, basically. I think that this is just a more complex card than simply saying, oh, the guy had a nightmare and woke up, but it's all of the thoughts that are, the swords is the air element. And so it's your thoughts, it's your intellect, it's it's deception, it's truth, it's justice. But here we'll just look at this as the mental side of things and all of the thoughts that are just plaguing him, and he's holding his head. He can't handle any more of it. It's just too much. And then we get to the 10, and it's over, and he has the chance with the light returning to really start to understand a higher truth, if you will. In a sense, you have the pattern here on here that shows the order of here. It extends both here and here. But realistically, I think that thought-wise, perception-wise, belief-wise, there could be something that's coming to an end with Degas, and then you have the opportunity for enlightenment and awakening. Oh, and there's that derivation of the woke word again. Yeah. That isn't that dumb? That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Anyway, I've said that before here. But anyway, essentially what we've got here is, and I'm going to need to, since I can't use my mouse, I'm going to have to do we have 9, we have, let's see, the tower then is next, and I'm going to do the numerology real quick. We'll talk about that. That's 16, which is 7, and then 1, that's 10, that's 17, which reduces to 8. And then with Degas, we have the 23rd, which is 23, reduces to 5. So 8 and 5 is 13. Did I do that right? 9 and 8 is 17. 17 reduces to 8. And then we have 23, which is 5, 8. Yeah, so we can leave it at 13 as the Master Witch number if you want to. But otherwise, it's a 4. And 4 is about structure and about foundation and all of that. And we can talk about foundation as our work and our home and our family and all of that. And sure, that's part of it. But also, what forms all of that is belief. Everything starts from belief. And what you believe is what you're going to manifest. And so above the form level is the belief system. And if there's going to be maybe a restructuring of that, you wake up from the nightmare, waking up from the nightmare of your own perceptions, your own belief systems, and to see what it's cost you to have those. Maybe it's something now you're ready to let go and to embrace something new that's of a higher vibration. And here you have the tower next, which again is the 16th card of the major arcana. A 7 numerology. So you're looking at balance here, a rebalancing of things. You see the lightning come in and blow the top of the tower off. And you see fire coming out of the windows. You see whatever this represents. It's either sparks or something coming off, or it's burning things coming out of the tower. You see maybe the king and queen, I don't know, coming out of the tower and falling. And we don't know that they died. There could be a moat, a nice lovely moat that's deep down below, and they just landed in the water for all we know. And so there's some unknown aspects of this card, but essentially this is about a rebalancing. It's a transformative experience. It's a catalytic experience. Something happens. And again, it could be the nightmare of realizing, I'm on the wrong path. Maybe you could say that. And so there's a point of transformation that's beginning here. And here, the lightning comes in, higher awareness comes in and blows the lid off of everything and says, hey, you've ignored me long enough. You're a soul. Start acting like it. And so it even looks a little bit pictorially here like the scales, where you have the top piece, and then you have the little chains, and then you have the pans down here. Well, it could be that, you've got like dark and light maybe here represented, the balanced polarity maybe. And then here's the top part. So there's a balancing effect, a rebalancing, if you will, with the tower. And again, with the 7 numerology, ultimately, you are looking at observation, you're looking at magic, spirituality, justice, balance, all of those things, and particularly observation. And here, in a sense, that's what may be happening. As he holds his head, he's making some realizations here. So these could be thoughts that are keeping him from going to sleep at night, that are plaguing him, in other words, and not necessarily a nightmare. Although it may feel like one, because I can't get to sleep. I can't turn my mind off. I can't get the monkey mind to settle down. And so something happens, a true awareness comes in, higher awareness comes in and blows everything apart and says, okay, here I am, pay attention, this is where you need to go. You need to be on a different path, clearly. If this is happening, something isn't right with this experience. So you're going to have to go within and figure out what that is. And if it's a matter of belief that you just have hit a wall with it and you can't go any further, and you've made a realization that, hey, I've been on the wrong path and now I need to go get on this other one, well, good. That's a good thing. And in the process, you end up letting go of the rubious energy, right? The misuse of force, where you're constantly, because realistically, monkey mind is a misuse of who you are as a soul. You're allowing the things going on in your life to become more important than the present moment or the path that you need to be on. And you can't focus on that, on what's coming and the opportunity that you have, because you're too held on by the past. Maybe you could see it that way. Some people do that. I have a tendency to not let go of things, and I stay fixated on something that's happened, and I can't put it into perspective sometimes and then move on. I worry about it. It's like, oh, what about this? What about that? And and the reality is, once it's done, it's done. If you keep revisiting it, then it's this. The monkey mind takes over, and you can't stop it, right? It's too much. And so the thoughts are just there, and they're basically lining up on you. They're increasing their weight on your shoulders. And so the transformative thing that happens is that you finally realize that that's what's going on, and you can make a different choice. You can choose another path to something that's much more satisfying, and, especially in terms of your personal life. Now, the Ace of Pentacles, again, the hand, again with the all aces in the Rider-Waite, hand is reaching out from the cloud, either holding a coin, as in Pentacles, a sword a sword in swords, which is the air element. This is the earth element. A club or a wand in wands, and then a cup. A beautiful cup in cups. That's the water element. And so you can look at this in terms of a different tradition, a different path, a path to new material security. Perhaps the thoughts that are plaguing you are fear, maybe over making a job change. You want to, but it's like, oh, I don't know that I can do that. And maybe there's reasons you can't. But maybe the reasons are within, and there's not really anything it's simply a fear-based type of a choice. It's not really grounded in reality. In fact, you could, and it could be something more lucrative. So that could be the new path that Degas is talking about. But in addition to that, though, if you want to broaden that out a little bit, Pentacles is about, again, the earth element. and how we manifest that within our interactions with other people, in terms of our family, our traditions, our loyalty, the oaths we take. All of this is all about pentacles. Where you live, the type of work you have, your education, all of that. And here it's definitely reinforcing with Degas a new path opening. You can see this one here traveling here next to lilies, which suggests purity. And then here's your hedgerow with the overgrown archway here, and it connects to the other side. And you see a mountain in the background. So there's going to be challenges, which are positive. You may learn something. Maybe you decide to go back to college or to some kind of a trade school or whatever, to get yourself ready for something more in your life, a new job, a higher paying job maybe, and whatever fear that held you behind here, that plagued you of, I'm afraid to move forward. Something happens where you realize that you wake up and you realize, hey, there's nothing to fear here, that I can make a different decision in my life. I can take a different path that may give me some more fundamental feelings of security. And again, whether it's going to school or taking a new job or getting some additional training or just taking a new path entirely, and not and the foundation within, the security, the feeling of grounding within, returns because you've let go of the nightmare of your own thoughts. So I think that the Rubius then energy is what we do to ourselves when we stay focused on egoic kinds of things, where we're in the reaction and the fear-based reaction of things, really. And I think that what the 9 is telling us is we've got to let go of that. That Rubius energy can have a really profound effect of keeping you stuck in a place of the ego's own choosing, not yours, but the ego's own choosing, where you're so focused on the past or things that have happened and how you feel about all of it, or maybe the path you've been on is perhaps very negative, and it's not seeing people or seeing situations from a higher perspective. All of that matters, and all of that can be found with Rubius. It's just a misuse of force, but instead of using it on other people, and maybe you do, in the same breath, maybe you do, but it's also what you're doing to yourself. When you can't let go of thoughts that really are plaguing you, that are no longer happening. You have to ask yourself, and it may be a little trick you use, to remember, a little memory trick maybe, where you say to yourself, okay, I'm upset about this, but is this happening now? Is it happening right now? If it is, okay, then be upset because maybe it's an upsetting it's an upsetting situation. But if it happened 6 months ago or 6 years ago, something's up, right? And you're really focusing on things that are no longer happening. Because if you had, say it reflects an argument you had with somebody, right? That other person may not even remember it. It's not plaguing them. In other words, it's that saying, they're living rent-free in your head. That's what's happening here. This is a rent-free in your head kind of an experience. But if you let go of the thoughts, if you let go of that and put them in the place that they belong, that happened X amount of whatever ago, years, days, weeks, months, whatever. Lifetimes, I don't know. How much real baggage are we carrying with us, But if you use that and you say to yourself, okay, make that bargain with yourself. If it's not happening now, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go occupy my mind with something else. And that shift, that immediate shift's like, okay, not happening now. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to go do the dishes. I'm going to go water the yard. I'm going to go water my plants. I'm going to go turn on the TV and watch something. I'm going to go write something. I'm going to go on social media and look at something. I'm going to, whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to go shopping, whatever. But you're taking your mind away from the moment where you're basically ruminating on things. That's a psychology term, ruminating on things that really you can't do anything about. And if it's something where you need to go apologize to somebody, go do it, if that's what you want to do. But let go of whatever those moments were that are no longer happening, and allow that. And that can be a very transforming, a very catalytic experience for a person to start to acknowledge that, hey, I'm focused on the past. I'm focused on things I can have no impact on now, that are over. And now I need to gather myself up and start doing something else with my mind and my thoughts and my beliefs. So it stops, the monkey mind stops at night and I can get some sleep, that kind of thing. And then when you do that, a new path opens, that makes you feel more secure. As an individual, that's the Degas part of this, the transformative tower, and then the new path that's opening for you, to where you do feel more secure. And again, Ace of Pentacles generally, again, it's about money, but money is security. So we'll just broaden that whole idea of Pentacles and make you feel secure and comfortable in your life, where you can then move on in a new direction. But I really think it takes letting go of thoughts that no longer serve you, and that are not happening now. And you have to simply, and again, it's what I do. It's like, okay, is this happening now? No. It's like, well, what are you doing? Go do something else. Go think about something else. I can remember my mother used to tell me that when I was a kid. This has been a long-term thing for me. And she'd say, well, just go think about something else. Don't think about it anymore. I'm like, but it's like, no, it's not happening anymore. It's over. Why are you still thinking about it? So I mean, this is something I've done since I was a child, and because I was a worrier. I worried about everything, So for me, this is my card. It really is. It's like, okay, monkey mind took over, and I didn't get much sleep the night before, right? My husband, I say, yeah, I hardly slept. He's like, monkey mind, yes. And so it's just what happens, right? It's what happens to people. Well, Degas is suggesting that you're doing this to yourself, and it's a misuse of the force within, you see, instead of the misuse of force with other people. It's the misuse of force with other men. It's a misuse of force within, and you're worth more than that. You're worth more than being upset. You're worth more than the monkey mind taking over. You're worth more than that. And your life is worth more than that. It's got to be about continuing to move forward on a positive path. And with Rubius, it's suggesting that this monkey mind stuff, this not letting go of thoughts that are no longer serving, no longer even, it's not even, the memories are not even, whatever that is not even happening now. It builds up and it takes over, and it makes it hard to sleep at night. Or even during the day, it makes it hard to keep your thoughts in a positive place. Instead, focused on all the worry over the past that's no longer happening. I mean, if you think about it, once it's over, everyone else has probably moved on. They don't think about it. You're the only one. And so if that's not a transformative thought, I don't know what is, really. It's like, oh, so I'm just doing this to myself. There's the Rubius energy. It can be inward, it can be outward. The misuse of force with other people, it's a very powerful rune, but you can really, really misuse the force within and keep yourself in a place of upset and worry and monkey mind being active and all of that. And realistically, something has to change so that you can get on a different path to feeling more secure in your life. And even if it's emotionally secure, but in the process, maybe it opens doors for you to be able to do other things. You stop worrying about all this other stuff, and suddenly you see the new opportunities that come your way, and you go, "Ooh, that looks cool," and you don't have fear holding you back at that point. So anyhow, interesting reading for a Monday. I just want the snow to go away right now. It's pretty, but come on, I've had it. I don't need it again. I mean, I lived in Alaska when I was a child. I've had enough of snow. I really have. But anyway, that's all. I think that's all we need to do here today. But thanks for watching. And again, click subscribe if you haven't. All the stuff came out on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. And if you forget, just click on more below the video. A little box will open and it's right there. And then check. I post most of the stuff over on Medium, on Patreon, and on Substack. If you are on those platforms and you want to look at stuff over on any of those. On Patreon, it's just $1 a month. That's all it is, just to kind of help defray blog costs here. That's all that's for. So if you want to follow me over on there, that'd be lovely. Thank you so much. But otherwise, come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.